Hey everybody, I'm going to show you how to take a zucchini, cut it, and put it in a spiralizer. So first thing is you're going to cut off the little head like that, and then you're going to cut it into chunks. So we're going to start like this. This is a spiralizer, and what we're going to do is lift it up. And in the beginning, you're going to choose the blade setting. So I've marked it with Sharpie marker, thin and thick, just so that I know what type of noodle that I'm trying to make that I prefer. So for right now, I'm gonna do the thin so you can see what that looks like. So you're gonna take the zucchini, plop it down, put your spiralizer over top. Of course, I didn't do that very well. You're just gonna slide it on until it locks in place. You know what it is? I cut it a little bit too high. That's what I did. No worries. Obstacles, part of life. You just keep moving forward. So we lock it into place. And we're going to start spiralizing. Now, you're going to just keep going until you can't go anymore. And what that usually means is you're down to one little piece of that item. So you're going to move that out of the way, lift the lid, and now you have very thinly little tiny pieces, very easy to eat. You can put this on a salad. You could make pasta sauce and put that over top. So for now, I'm going to put this portion in another container over here, another container of the thin sliced zucchini. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna do the same thing again, but I'm going to shift the knob to thick, okay? And so now it's gonna have a different pattern of how it cuts. So again, we put the slice of the zucchini down, place the spiralizer lid in place, it locks in place, and then we're gonna start turning again. Turning and turning and turning. And if you know anything about the life coaching that I offer, turning your wheel, turning your pie is pretty much what makes your whole life go around. So that's on another topic. Again, you have one left, put that over to the side, lift the lid, and the texture on this is totally different, okay? And so this could be like an Alfredo type of a noodle or something like that, and you can do a pasta sauce. Again, you could still put this in a salad. You could make a sauce on top of it. Right now, all I wanted to do was show you how to use the spiralizer. So then you can put that into a container, and you might want to separate it out. For now, I'm just going to have it in the same container and then put that in the refrigerator. So the spiralizer has three parts. It has a bottom container. It has the blades, which are just right here. And you have the choice of going thin or thick. And then you put the chunk of the zucchini in place, okay? And again, being mindful of the height. So you might want to do it in two chunks. Put that down and start spiralizing. So this is pretty easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of effort. You can get your family involved, you know, put your husband on a task, put your kids on a task, and then when it stops turning, that means that this is the last piece left. Don't throw it away. You can always use it again in a different portion. So we're going to take these out. Boom. Put them in our jar. And now we go for the last portion. Actually, I have two more pieces, but you get the idea. I'm going to flip it again to thin so that I have more of that shape. Start spiralizing and turning. So when we think about our life, are you going around in circles doing the same thing over and over again and hoping that you didn't? I can tell you that there are better ways of doing things, and you will soon find out when you really truly listen to your intuition. Another piece, and we're going for the last one. Now I'm going to cut off the very little end of this one put that back in place. And here we go. And we're spiralizing. So just to give you an idea of part of my story, I was vegan for 34 years. And when I say vegan, I started out vegetarian. Then from vegetarian, I became vegan, meaning no dairy, no fish, no meat, no eggs, no cheese. And at that time, it was a lot harder to be vegan at that time. It required a lot more effort because restaurants and that sort of thing were not as the norm as today. But I still stuck with it. And then I became raw vegan, which is mostly what I prepare now. And again, we have the consistency. Now you can, like I said, put a sauce, put a dressing, throw a plop of this onto your salad. It really is delicious. You can just eat it raw like this. So fresh. Really wonderful. So like I said, I was raw vegan for a great portion of that. I'm going to say like 15 out of the 30 years I was raw vegan. And it required discipline, okay? And I think that's something that most people don't have today. They just kind of want things instantly, which is why most people resort and go to fast food. But I can assure you there are consequences for that behavior. So essentially, I fell in love. And when I fell in love, the person was not vegan at the time. He was a meat eater. And I was, so excited to start my life with him. And I thought that I could still have my life and my way of doing things, and he could have his way of doing things. And we clashed because he had expectations of me as the woman to prepare certain things. And then it seemed like an extra burden on me to be making all the healthy, raw vegan stuff that I was making. And then now I'm making all this cooked vegan stuff for him, and sometimes certain fish or sometimes certain meat. And the point is that when we love people, we try to honor them in their love language. And that's what I attempted to do, but it backfired. And what I mean by that is he got inspired about the whole cooking thing, and he started to take over in the kitchen. And when I think about how I prepare food and the type of consciousness that I put into my food, the prayers that I'm saying over my food, the thoughtfulness in selecting the vegetables that I handpick when I go to the grocery store, the very select ingredients that I'm putting into the different sauces and dressings that I make, homemade, I want to be a part of that process. And when I let go of the control, and on one hand, me being sometimes more of a masculine female, because I'm so like go, and I get things done, and I'm all about like getting it done and giving so that I can give to other people. But unfortunately, by giving up that control and allowing him to, quote, serve me, it was a big mistake. And as a result, he was poisoning me. And that's like another whole conversation. But he was a drug addict. He was a narcissist. And he was actually poisoning me in my food. But I did not know this. I was just so like overwhelmed with the fact that somebody made me dinner. And the fact that it was a vegan cooked dinner over a raw vegan dinner. I was like, well, maybe give it time. If I keep teaching him, he'll understand. But he just cooked more and more cooked vegan food. And then at some point, because he wanted the meat and the fish, he was like, here, just try a piece, And then the next thing I know, I'm compromising my morals. I'm compromising my values. The stress of the relationship was getting to me. And bottom line, I lost myself. I lost my way. And I started eating meat. I started eating fish, I started putting on the weight. And basically, sometimes it takes tragedy or, something, circumstances in our life that, make us really see things in a different way. And so for me, in 2020, when COVID hit, we were already engaged in 2018. And then when COVID hit in 2020, there was a lot of things I noticed different in his behavior. And he was telling me that he was clean and sober, but he really wasn't. And anyway, the bottom line is I fell into a pattern, not knowing that I was being poisoned and not knowing that he was actually taking advantage of me in every way, shape, and form when I wasn't physically in my home. He had people here without my permission. He was doing things in my home that are just atrocious. Eventually I caught him doing drugs, and I kicked him out and said, look, you need to work on you. You need to get into recovery. You need to get a sponsor. You need to get back to God. You need to find your way, back to what is normal. And so I was his friend, and I supported him from a distance in the sense of being a friendship, bringing encouragement, bringing inspiration. But as for having any type of intimate or physical relationship, when he relapsed with drugs, the boundary was drawn, and I was no longer available to provide any of that for him until he could show me with his stability that he was going to be a responsible, person. And during this whole process, again, I was so stressed out from just all of the trauma, the changes, that I ended up resorting to, doing a lot of smoothies and quick meals to help me through the process. And then I started to lose a lot of weight. And then again, what I noticed was then all of a sudden I started to gain weight, and it didn't make any sense to me at all. It was like, how could I be gaining this weight when all the things that I'm doing that I know what to do correctly, I'm not losing the weight. And what it was that he was poisoning me, and he had put other fattening agents inside of my green powders and protein powders and mixed it in, but I had no idea. And so then here I am drinking all these smoothies thinking that I'm losing weight, and meanwhile I'm gaining all this weight because he was tampering with my food supply. Now, I know this is an unusual circumstance and situation, but I share this story to tell you that it is so important for you to manage and control your food supply. I made this. It was from an actual zucchini, fresh, that I picked out in the store. I spiralized it. When I make a sauce, I'm going to pour it over it, and I'm going to eat it. And I know all those parts of making that particular food and meal. And when you go to a restaurant, you're giving up that control, and you may be sacrificing much more than you realize in the long run. So I'm going to have more on this. I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to pick up again. But again, this was a demonstration of the spiralizer and how to make this thin noodles and how to make the thicker, wider noodles. And I hope that you check it out and start creating more and bringing more health into your body, into your home, and into your family. Thank you.